Happy Memorial Day. I hope you guys are having a great long weekend and you guys aren't stuck in traffic. Shout out to Katrina. You guys always see Katrina in the comments. She's retired Air Force. Have you ever seen one of these vans jump? I've seen exactly one guy do it. The most insane 40 Econoline driver I've ever seen in my life. Balls of steel on that guy.
Oh my God.
Here's the jump guy's Instagram. He's going with Action Van suspension, and there's my comment. You, sir, are the most insane off-road van guy ever. Here's his new van build. He's about to jump this thing. This guy added limiting straps to his lift kit. So there's Action Van suspension, Weldtec, and Camberg. Out of those three companies, Camberg was the only one that had the limiting strap standard on their lift kit. So yep, this guy's ready to do some jumps. There you go. There's the Action Van pivot relocation brackets. There you go, right there. I shared the jumping van. Now I want to share my friend Andrew's van. So my friend Andrew went with Action Van suspension, and he told me Larry treated him really well on the phone. So he didn't need a rear lift. He did a dually conversion for the back. He also didn't want the shocks. He had his own shocks. So all he needed was the modified radius arms, the I-beam relocation brackets, the sway bar relocation, and that's it. Oh, and the coil springs. So Larry made a package deal for him for just the parts he needed, and he was able to lift his dually van. Check this thing out. He went with Action Van suspension because they took care of him and gave him a great price. Shout out to my San Diego friends. I think there's like 6 of us now. 2 of you bought a van that already had a lift kit on it, Weldtec lift kits, Javi Wasabi, and my friend Ryan. My friend Ryan messages me on Instagram, shows me a van he's interested in buying. I'm like, nice, does that van have 35s on it? He said, no, they're 33s. So he went and looked at the van, and I said, hey, they did have 35s. And I say, yeah, man, I look at these vans too much. I could spot 35s. I have 33s because I wanted to go with 410 gears and an aux locker. If you go with 35s, you need like 430s. But man, I have these wide body fenders. If you want wide body fenders, let me know. My friend makes these. But yeah, with these wide body fenders, the wheel gap increased by 2 inches, so it looks like I need 35s now. I might put a 34, but yeah, I'm not geared for 35s, but I'm geared for 34s. But yeah, $500 from Los Angeles to San Diego, hand delivered. So let me know if you want these. My buddy makes them. Unlike the other wide body fenders on the market, these are cheaper and the bolt holes are already there. Shout out to the other Ryan. So my buddy makes these fenders, and my other buddy Ryan makes these Aluminess style side ladders. This made my van look more like a sportsmobile imposter. So this ladder is $350 versus $700 for an Aluminess. I got some talented friends. Every time I see this thing, I'm thinking to myself, there's probably an apartment in there, and it's probably really nice. Shout out to my friend Caesar. He's headed to San Diego to get a Weldtec lift kit. Let me know how it goes, man. Send me pictures of your van once you get it lifted. About half of the videos I upload is in response to the questions I get in the comment section or messages I get on Instagram. Most of my friends and viewers here on YouTube go with Action Van suspension because of the price difference versus Weldtec. This is the first time I've been presented with this question. So this guy's not concerned about the price difference between Action Van and Weldtec. He just wants to get the lift kit that's best for his van. So we're going to do it for the first time on this channel. We're going to discuss the Action Van Suspension Ultimate Kit. I'm always recommending the Action Van Suspension 2089 lift kit. It has everything you need, and it actually lifts your van taller than the Weldtec lift kit. 2089 parts only. Weldtec is 3200 parts only for their 5-inch lift kit. 3500 installed at Action Van, 5200 installed at Weldtec, so the price gap increases even more. Shipped, the Action Van's $300 shipped. Weldtec is $600, so the price gap increases when you get it shipped also. So I never talk about the ultimate suspension, so I'm going to do it in the next video. I'm working on it. Fellow lifted van enthusiast, he has a cool van. We both have wide body fenders. He's running the Action Van. I have a Weldtec. There's the mirrors. What's the eye test telling you guys? Which one's sitting taller? I gave you guys a quick preview of what the Weldtec radius arm looks like when it's going over bumps. It has a double donut bushing, Action Van suspension, ultimate suspension radius arm. It has a pivot, not a double donut. I'm working on a video about lift kits for these vans, the technical aspect of it. Here's a preview of that video. Weldtec radius arm. This radius arm is using a double donut bushing. This is how much play is in that double donut bushing. So we will discuss this in a future video. Is it worth it to get a radius arm with a pivot instead of that double donut? Who watches Engineering Explained? My next video about lift kits will be a tribute to Engineering Explained. I'm not as smart as the guy, but I'll do my best. So I have a friend on Instagram. A lot of his stories are for close friends only, but he messages me and tells me that he was going to get a Weldtec, but it was going to be a 3-month wait. So he saw my videos on Action Van and ended up going with Action Van suspension. And he told me a bunch of people with no lift kits were trying to give him lift kit advice, trying to tell him it's Weldtec or nothing. And a lot of people don't like my videos on Weldtec versus Action Van, but he's happy with the Action Van lift. I joked with him because this was on his Instagram stories for close friends, but he has a backyard bar. He hooked up his backyard bar. Looks really good. So I joked with him and said, so that's what you did with the $1,700 you saved going with Action Van versus Weldtec.